today off my Let's Get Inky, and I have something exciting and new to show you that I haven't done before. I finally bit the bullet and I'm part of the HOBONICHI crew now. I am in love and I'll show you why. I've been wanting a HOBONICHI for years. If you followed me for a while over here on my one of my first, I think it was the first year I had Let's Get Inky, I started a FAUXBONICHI, which I'll go and show you what my style was. So I started this one in 2015 and I just used an exercise book, a graph book, and I used it as I was seeing other people use their FAUXBONICHIs as like a daily, their HOBONICHI, sorry. It's called a FAUXBONICHI because it's faux, it's fake. But this is how I was using it and I really loved it. It was back while I was still teaching, and so I wrote stuff, I stamped, I used a heap of my stamps that never got touched. I doodled, and I really enjoyed it. It lasted the month, and then I started a thicker version which I think lasted a couple of months, but then I think we got to this is August, so we would have gotten to school reporting time and my free time just went out the window. And so then earlier this year, God, this year has flown. Earlier this year I started another one using this cheap journal from Kmart. I think it was about $5, and I really liked it because it had all of the 365 numbers at the top, and I thought this would be really fun to do some journaling in, and I lasted a while. You can see I had a big blank space, but I lasted a bit. But I came to a realization that I'm a bit of a paper snob, and the paper in this was just, it's really shocking. It's not nice paper at all. I couldn't use my favorite gel pen, the Pilot G2, because it was bleeding through, and so I promptly abandoned this, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. I might rip out the pages that I've done and staple them together, because they are some memories that I'd like to remember. Funny about that, because they're memories. It's when I was pregnant, and yeah, it would be nice to keep those. But this year my husband asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I decided to treat myself to this, which is the HOBONICHI. I'm storing it just in this little box that I have left over from the other planner that I'm using 3 planners, I guess you could say, this year, and I might do a separate thing on this. These Steph Pace planners are sold out for 2020. I did record a video a couple of days ago flipping through it, but in the time that I recorded that video and I started editing it, she sold out of them. So I don't think I'll upload that one, but I will show you in another video what journals and stuff, planners I'm using for this year. But I wanted to make a separate one on the HOBONICHI. 3 minutes into the video and I'm still rambling on. Oh peeps, the paper in this is just so beautiful. It's Tomoe River, and I really like it. It was worth the cost. For me, the cost wasn't far off par a normal, you know, high brand or high quality planner here in Australia. Everything's more expensive here, and so I wasn't miffed at the price. Plus, it was my Christmas present for this year, so technically I didn't buy it. But if you haven't seen one before, there's lots of flip throughs on YouTube of empty ones, but I'll show you how I'm using it. And I wanted to wait until I'd filled in a few days before I filmed this video, because I think it's good to, you can have intentions for planners, but it's a case of, do you actually use them the way that they're intended? So if you haven't seen one before, essentially there's the month pages, and then there's weekly pages, and then there's daily pages, and the paper is really thin. It reminds me of like the thinness of Bible paper. It's very thin, and I have been highly inspired to do this by Lindsey Scribbles. I think that's her name. I found her on Instagram and then found her YouTube channel, so I'll put her info down below. But she has beautiful handwriting and her Hobonichi is just amazing. So I'll do a quick overview of how I'm using each section. So the monthly section, I started with December, and I've got to go back and look at my photo reel and my other planner to see what I did these days to try and remember. So I was just doing like a highlight of the day, but I'm since changing it. It's a similar kind of thing, but I'm since changing it to what I'm grateful for each day. And I think this is just a really easy way for a gratitude log, and sometimes it can be something really, you know, trivial, like chocolate chip cookies or warm fuzzy slippers, but other days they can be a bit more meaningful. So we took Archie for his first bike ride, and then I took baby Violet to my great nana, and she had lots of smiles with her, and so yeah, so it's a highlight reel of things that I'm grateful for. So that's the plan for the monthly spreads. I don't really know what to put down here at the moment. I'm just leaving it blank because I want to make this realistic for me to keep caught up on. So that's that one. Then, and I've got to get some tabs so that I can easily flick to each section. And then this is my weekly. Now I already have my personal planner, by the brand Personal Planner. It's a customizable planner which I've loved, and I've been using them. This is my 3rd year in a row, and I absolutely love them. So I'm still using that. That's going to be my inky planner because there's not enough space for what I need to keep track of what videos I'm filming, what I'm designing for Patreon, and just to keep on top of what's edited, uploaded, scheduled, thumbnails done, voiceovers done, and all of that. So that it needs a separate place because otherwise it gets too overwhelming. And then my Steph Pace planner is going to be just one that stays at home. It's like my family planner. It'll have all appointments in it, shopping list, meal planning. My husband can write in it. It just stays on our bench. And this is like my pretty memory keeping type one, which I know that's a lot of planners, but I'm loving it. And I'm gonna attempt to start off with a newborn. So for each week, I started off with blue. I'm just going to choose a colour that takes my fancy and just use it like a bit of a to-do list, write down a few like highlight things that were happening in the week. And I also bought a few planner stickers from, I will do a bit of a planner sticker haul. I know one of them I think is Pumpkin Paper Co. I think that's what it is called, but I will do a separate video on the planner stickers if you'd like to see that. Let me know in the comments if you would like to be interested in that, and I could even do a plan with me or something. So I do plan on putting a few little planner character stickers in. And then my favorite part by far is the daily section. I got this pen, is it a pen board? Pencil board? Pen board? I'm not sure what it's called, but I've just been slipping it under my pages and then using a little clip to clip it down to make it easier to write with. I will show you what supplies I'm using in a moment, but I am using the daily pages heavily inspired by Lindsey Scribbles as kind of a daily journaling spot, but also like a bullet journal to keep collections of things that I want to keep, to write quotes on that I like. So there'll be a little bit of journaling here and there on most days, I guess, and then there'll also be other information. At the very front up here, there is a yearly overview, and something that I saw Lindsey do, which I just was mind-blowing to me, was she uses this as her index. So if there's any collections of things like my 2020 goals, or I might have a recipe that I wrote down, I'm going to write that down here and use it as my index instead of creating a whole new bullet journal style index. So that, I'm looking forward to filling that in. So I've just been writing quotes and then a little bit of journaling about a dream that Archie had. I was right. I wanted to record a lot of the information from Christmas because this year we hosted breakfast and lunch, and so I wanted to remember what I cooked because I still have baby brain. Violet's only 8 weeks old, so my brain's not working properly yet, and I know I will forget what I did. I've been using a variety of brush pens, which I'll show you in a moment as well, but it's just, I think it's going to be really fun to flip through. I want to write a little bit about the devastating bushfires that we're currently going through in Australia. I'm safe where I am. There was a large fire near me earlier in the week, which is under control now, but it's heartbreaking to see the loss of lives and homes and people's livelihood and the wildlife. I think it's in the billions or something, or 500 million wildlife have perished. I'm not quite sure of the number, which is why I want to look up some statistics and kind of do my own personal journaling about that here. I've been using this also to pen test some pens that I have been getting, and I have gone forward and written down a few collections of things that I want to remember, even though we're not up, well, at the time of filming this I'm not up to this date yet, so I can go back and put a bit of journaling in here. But I think I realised that this last year I set scrappy, I call them scrappy resolutions. This year I'm calling them creative goals to make them a bit broader, but I realised that I failed a lot of them, which is okay. Usually I would beat myself up about it and I would get really frustrated, but I learnt things from my failures. So I really wanted to keep on top of daily journaling in here, but I realised that a couple of things. One, if I don't like the materials that I'm using, I'm not going to keep up with it. This paper, I hate. Writing on it is like nails on a chalkboard. It's so, I don't think you guys, I wish you could feel it. It's so rough and horrible. It was wrapped in plastic when I bought it, so I didn't quite know the extent to how horrible the paper was. But I've realised that I need materials that I love in order to keep up with something. Let me know in the comments if you're the same, if you've found that with your previous projects, not just journaling, but with anything. The other thing that I realised is that I need to make it realistic and start off with small chunks. So this, giving myself a whole giant space to journal every single day, plus keep up with the weather and what was I doing down here? Something that I love that day, and something creative that I did, and using stickers and using all the things. It was a lot of elements, whereas this, I can go forward, fill in my collections, and then if I want to do a bit of journaling, I can. If nothing gets written there, it's okay. It doesn't matter. I can always go back and do some large quotes if I want to. And the third thing I realized is that I don't want to make this scrapbooky. I started scrapbooking. My main channel is Inky Quill, if you're a new person watching this video that hasn't subscribed there. And I realized that I wanted my journaling to just be pen, paper and brush markers. That's it. So I think by eliminating the stickers, it was an extra stress out of the way. So it did fail, but you know, I learnt some things from it, and I'm hoping that I can start 2020 with a better project in mind. So I've just been going through and filling in some bits and pieces here and there. So we'll see how we go. I probably won't do too many process plan with me videos unless you guys would like to see that. Let me know. I could fill in some collections and maybe do a week of to-do lists and planning of what I've got on each day, but I'll quickly show you what supplies I'm using. I should add, I bought all of this from Jet Pens, not sponsored at all. I freaking wish I was sponsored by Jet Pens, but I'm not. I found their postage really reasonable. It was, I think it was about $30 international, probably US dollars, I think, possibly, which is far better than the postage I have paid previously at other places. I have paid up to $200 in international posting for craft supplies. $200, peeps. That's That's not nice. That's not nice at all. But I also bought all of these pens from Jet Pens. Let me turn them that way. And I wanted to try a few new things. So the first thing that I bought that I've used before, if you've watched my Traveler's Notebooks videos, you would have seen me use these before. These are the Tombow dual brush markers, and they are beautiful. This is the, I think it's the new 2019 color pack. And I looked at it and I thought they're very Adele-ish colours, the blues and the pinks, and there's, yes, this one might not be my go-to colour, but it's okay. It's okay. The rest of them definitely are. So I did a swatch in here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it now. It's in January somewhere. Here we go. So I swatched all of those out, and then you can see they don't bleed through. They ghost, definitely, which I thought was going to frustrate me, but it's actually, it's not frustrating me too badly. We'll see if I'm still saying that in a month's time. But I've been using them here and there. Not that one. That's a Tombow. That's definitely a Tombow. I find that their colour is definitely more saturated than some of the others. So I love those. Then a pen that surprised, well, these ones are new to me. I haven't used the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers before. I've got a few of them here in a couple of colours. That's the swatches of them here. I'm not a huge fan of them. I like them, but I find for me personally, the brush tip is a little bit too soft and flexible. I prefer a harder tipped brush pen just for my writing style. So I do like them, but I like the other two more. But I wanted to get a few colours just to try them out instead of buying a giant pack and not liking them. The brush pen that surprised me, that I absolutely love and desperately want to buy more of, are these, the Mildliner brush in Superfine. So they've got a brush tip on this end, and it wasn't until I bought it home, or till I got them, that I realised it also has a tiny tip on this end. I would not have known that unless, probably if I read the description, that might have helped, but alas, I did not. So that's these ones here, and the colours are just gorgeous. I really wanted to go back and buy the, I think there was a mild pack or a pastel pack or something, but they were out of stock. So once that's in stock, I probably will purchase that. But these are beautiful to write with, and they've got a nice big tip so you can do large brush lettering, but the skinny tip also comes in handy, which is what these Tombows have as well. And I also grabbed, same brand, these are the Mildliner highlighters. So they have a highlighter tip and then a teeny tip on the end as well. And these are over here. I didn't have any highlighters in my stash, so I thought these would be handy. I just grabbed a few colours, but I probably will go back, and if I can find a larger pack of these, I might pick up a few more colours in this. The pen that I'm using for all of my writing is the it's not this one. I've picked up the wrong pen, but it is the Uni Jetstream in the 0.5 size. I bought a couple of different sizes because I wasn't quite sure which size I would prefer. The 0.38 is a little bit too fine for me personally. I have them though, so I'll be using them in other planners and projects. The 0.5 it's just nice. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, and it's good on these tiny little gridded squares. So I use that. I've also got them in the 1.0 size, which I have been using for, I think I used it for the word swatches. So it gives a bit of a thicker look, obviously, because it's a thicker tip. And then the final pen that I've been using is this one, which is definitely a new fave, and it's by Tombow, and it's got a smaller black tipped brush pen on one side and then grey on the other. So that's the black and that's the grey. And these are definitely my preferred brush pen for smaller titles. If I was going to do a bigger one, I would probably reach for the Tombows or the new mild liner ones that I like. So that's my Hobonichi. Please let me know if you are using one, if you share your own pages or process videos, or if you have anyone that you love to follow for inspiration. Please let me know in the comments, because I want to soak up all the Hobonichi inspiration goodness, and I'll keep you updated with how we're going. One other tip that I am doing to make sure that I actually use this is that by I'm a big believer in like making kits of things, making smaller bunches of your supplies for different projects so that you can just pick up and go and you don't have to sort through your stash to find what you need. I'm keeping everything in this box. If it doesn't fit in this box, I'm not using it, and I'm keeping this box on my coffee table in a little corner so that my little 2-year-old's hands can't get into it, because he loves markers and I love him using markers, but not Mummy's expensive $7 per pen markers. We might get him a Crayola set. He has like so many textures, but it's the old thing, of course, of if Mummy's using it, then it's definitely better. So I do this after both kids go to bed, and I'm just setting myself 5 minutes per day to do a little bit of journaling, fill in my weekly if there's anything I have to fill in or tick off, and then just write a few words for what I'm grateful for. I think that's manageable. And then on the days that I feel like doodling, I feel like doing a bit more, maybe Violet's just had a feed and she's just hanging out on a playmat and I'm watching something on Netflix for 20 minutes, I might pull this out and do some more of the collection type stuff where I'm writing down things that I want to keep note of. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a bit rambly, but I'm a bit rusty at filming because I've been off babying, but I'm excited for 2020. By the way, I have a live stream coming up on January 26th, which is a Sunday Australian time at 7 AM Australian Eastern Daylight Time, AEDT. If you're not near Australia, basically, if you're in Europe or America or probably Africa or any countries that way, it will probably be the 25th for you. So if you just Google a time converter and put in the date and the time and my time zone, Australian Eastern Daylight Time or Sydney, whatever comes up, then you can work out what time it will be where you are. But I'm really excited. I'll be doing some art journaling, traveler's notebooks, maybe some Hobonichiing, some scrapbook layouts, project life. I'll probably go for about 4 or 5 hours depending on how baby behaves. But pop that in your diaries, pop it in your planners, peeps. Alright guys, I'm going to head off, and let me know in the comments what particular Hobonichi videos you would like to see, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye!